situation, but that game, I just feel like the Illidan was forced.
It was an interesting pick. Didn't work out. We'll see what they do. Illidan, not a bad pick on SkyTem. I think this is a better map for Illidan. Gives him more room to work. Ragnaros, the ban being hurt, but pick here. We'll see what route they want to go this time.
Ragnaros being hovered. So interesting that he did not get picked or banned that last game. That's pretty rare in the Open Division.
I think I really think he's falling off. Not enough to where he doesn't warrant at least some type of like 75% involvement rate, but just I think that the priority is a little less. I think that to get true value, you know, we've seen a lot of combos with Sulfurous Smash, and I think that maybe some of the Open Division teams are lacking a little bit of the synergy. They might not have had enough practice with it yet. I mean, obviously it's been out, but it's kind of been the new meta for the last few weeks, especially in the Pro Division. So maybe they're just not as confident in landing those combos. We actually saw multiple attempts last night, did not go as well as they had hoped. But again, I'm telling you, a Ragnaros against an Ariel, the minute that Aegis goes out, it's just like, here comes the hammer, man. You're dead.
It's true. Self-smash. Pretty darn go-to. Malfurion will end up being the ban here, though, from Nice. Imported support. Now saying, do we give up the Tassadar, or do we force them to first pick Tassadar so we can try to get Tass Vala or something for our first rotation? And they will end up opting for the Tass ban, playing it safe. So now we'll see first pick Varian. Been seeing a lot of first pick Varians. And then could be, oftentimes this would be like ETC Mouth, but, you know, maybe Tychus, ETC, maybe Falstad here, maybe Dahaka, maybe both.
I'll take Falstad, Dahaka. Why not? I think definitely one or the other needs to be prioritized. I mean, Sky Temple is the most predictable map for the first 8 to 9 minutes of the game, probably closer to like 7 to 8 minutes of the game, which can sometimes be half the game. You know, you have the temple phases that are easily predictable. You can manipulate the camps. You can force rotations. You can strategize. Early game here, you have good boss control with Gust, things like that. So there's a lot of value I think you get out of picks like that if you have a strategy going into it. If you just go in saying, like, I think we'll make this work, we just got to make sure and time it right, it's not as valuable, but you can definitely force rotations on this map to give yourself an advantage. It might not be much of an advantage, but it'll be enough for you to gain a lead and then potentially just kind of control the map.
Yeah, but they're going to get neither of them. I mean, technically, DC could kind of have the global and stage dive, but wow, I'm really surprised to see that early Rhaegar, and
they're daring them to go Ariel again.
Yeah, I guess
they're daring them to go Ariel again because they banned Mouth. Nice banned Mouth,
right?
So they're like, well, you're not gonna have Rhaegar, so let's see if you're any good because your Ariel did not look good, or at least it didn't synergize well with their team.
It just they just didn't have the mana battery for it with the way they did their rotations, which really showed. But okay, so I like that, you know, mentality, but they are going to be giving up a Falstad very likely here. If we see Falstad Dahaka, it definitely can work. I mean, Dahaka Variant is fine to be your double front line, and then you've got Falstad for range as well. Tychus, they go for neither.
Sky Temple, Falstad Dahaka, not during first rotation.
That's interesting.
Surely one of them will see either a ban or a pick, right?
Yeah, I mean, they've got to. Think about Dahaka, even just as a solo laner.
Ragnaros, Falstad, Dahaka, still on the board. Mm-hmm. All have value in their own right. Globals obviously being for 2 of those heroes. The ability, I guess, to combo off of a lot of this stuff. Ragnaros should see some type of recognition, but again, we fall into the category of certain people have certain priorities on heroes, and Zeratul and Illidan both excel in this map, and we saw them both last game.
It's gonna be Zeratul. Interesting. Now, obviously leaving globals available is nice because... Wait. They didn't flip sides. They're just thinking the Illidan Rhaegar. Huh. I don't get it. I'm a little confused, J-How.
That's okay, man. Just let it be.
Just accept it.
Just embrace it. It'll be okay. But now that both Illidan and Zeratul are off the table, you have to start looking at other heroes for the people we were just talking about. I mean, we literally just talked about it. Excuse me. But there's the Dahaka. You could go Falstad here. You have a lot of auto attacks. There's no blinds really on the other side, but you do run into the possibility of block party, although Tychus takes care of a lot of those block shots. I feel like that might be something they want to consider right now.
My question here is, who is LZ playing? Is he on the Tychus, or is he going to try to play Sonya or something? Varian is, you talked about him having, the worst win rate of all warriors as a solo tank. So they got to be thinking, A, we need someone who can lane, and B, we need another frontline hero, especially when you got Karazim. He cannot be that support going in on his own to the front. Zarya could kind of fit that role. But I'm curious if they're just going to try to make Sonya work. Rag and Murky. Well, that's frontline. That's 4 melee heroes.
Okay, let's talk about it has to be Ragnaros as the solo laner versus Dahaka.
Yeah, it will be.
We saw last night what Dahaka does against Murky in a solo lane.
Oh,
it's not pretty.
Poops on him.
It's not pretty.
No, and you got to talk about the new Murky as there's a few different variables. One, a fishy deal, super good. That's Murky's bribe, but the pufferfish does get destroyed by splash damage, and Nether Global picked up. Ooh, I do not like the look of this draft for Nice versus imported.
I mean, I would say in general, but I mostly say because of Murky.
Wow, he's a hater.
Okay, listen. I before it was Dragonshire last night, and I said it before it ever even started, is that you cannot put Murky in the lane with Dahaka.
Right? No, you can't.
Dahaka just pufferfish what?
Yeah,
I don't see any pufferfish here. He just wipes it out instantly, and Murky loses insane value in that lane. He loses insane value in that lane, and you have no global.
LZ Gamer on the Murky. Going to show us what he's got, what kind of build he's going to go for. Murky's had very mixed results in the competitive scene. J-How hates it so much. He's so angry right now.
Murky. But he's got a 57.5% win rate. Oh.
The thing about Murky, and this is actually just probably the best tip I could give anyone at home for when you're against a Murky in lane, just kill the pufferfish. Like, throw your multi-shot at it. Whatever kind of ability you have, it's not just autos as it always was. Kill the pufferfish, and you will really hinder the early game of the Murky so much. You nullify a lot of his burst, especially if he's going a fishy deal. You just shut down his ability to get those bribe stacks, and that's a big part of what makes Murky excel on ladder.
Also, if you're playing against a competitive team and you see double globals, then you have to know that you're going to get some cheese in a lane, because basically it allows one global to back off, fly up to the other. You don't miss soak in another lane. You go up. There's a small defense there, but a little bit of damage can go a long way. You know, the threat of Varian and Murky showed up there, but you can see Specialty already taking out about half of that tower.
Yeah, that's insanely valuable. You talk about once the second temple phase pops up, they've already got this much damage done. You can really throw things in your favor, and obviously they're going to be putting a personal quest for themselves. Oh, they might get the first Murky kill. But they're going to be doing everything they can to take out this well before the second temple phase in this game.
I think right now their priority basically needs to be get as much siege damage as you can. Falstad will trade roles, and he'll be the solo laner at the bottom. They can put pressure elsewhere. The reason you put Falstad in the bottom is because the first temple phase is top and middle temple, and you leave your global there to join the fight, whatever, without ever having to give up any soak. They should rotate down soon. Or not.
Yeah, they're just gonna. Okay, they're thinking about it. Falstad is hanging out here, maybe just cleaning up mid. I don't know. It's a bit suboptimal to not put Falstad down there because you are giving up potential free soak that could be at your disposal. Looks like they're just going to maintain a lot of pressure in bottom.
That's a lot of damage. That is a lot of damage to that bottom, and you already mentioned it. The next temple phase bottom, and without that well, which is basically a foregone conclusion, there it is. Yeah, that's going to be tough to do.
It's a big win, but they need to focus on the phase at hand. We did see a fair bit of those middle shots did get picked up on the blue side. Top has been completely contested by blue, and since they were able to take down the wall before this, they will get the first 4 of the game.
I think the scarier prospect right now is, let's see, Murky. He has 14 stacks, so he can bribe the bottom siege camp. Li Ming has spotted it, but that should be picked up. That's the scary part, is that now you've lost your siege damage value. As Crux, is he going to be able to walk away? He's re-engaging there, trying to get the knockback. But it does look like they're going to be able to stand back on the temple, continue to channel shots. This should be the last of them.
Yep, last few shots going in. So if you look at the map right now and you look at the experience, you see that it's pretty much dead even. Mercenary camps were still in here on the right side, and there's a fort down. You might be saying, oh, well, this looks really good for nice. But when it comes to the next temple phase, we were kind of talking about this, there's a huge advantage on this. And in the event that does go to imported support, I mean, it's a one shrine phase. When one team has a well and the other doesn't, that alone is a big deal.
I still got to go back to imported not leaving one of the globals in the bottom lane, because it actually allowed Murky to just casually walk over, steal your siege camp, and get a little bit of push value in there, and Li Ming would have been a far better option to defend that middle lane. So a little bit of a slip up, I think, there in terms of rotations, but as you said, they did pretty well to take that entire bottom wall out.
Well, 7-7, both teams selecting those talents as we speak. And nothing too out of the ordinary. Remember, globals will be something that comes into play. Falstad maintaining his position here in the bottom. Li Ming does have to retreat, as there is a 4-man rotation to the mid at this moment. Falstad also needs to be careful, doesn't want to overstay his welcome. Ignition will back up just in time.
Camp picked up at the top. It's going to be cleared up before the next shrine phase. They do have Dahaka up there. He's going to be able to take care of that puffer fish. As LZ Gamer trying to defend with a camp of his own. Crux going to rotate over. Bubble should be coming momentarily. They're going to wait to try and bait it out. Or just they don't have to bait it out because he doesn't use it.
So Swabs will probably try to get one more lane of soak just because Murky might continue pushing up top. He just respawned. Then he'll, Hearth and Brushtalker? No, he actually already rotated down as I was reading something else. And boom! They pick up an early kill with the resets. Can they get another one?
Ragnarok's gonna die. All right, so Dahaka Brushtalkered really early. Murky will be able to clear that up. I think Dahaka is going to go ahead and rotate. He should be able to get middle wave and then rotate back to the top, because you can't exactly allow Murky to free push. The bottom fort is going down, but you can't give up a lot more just because you ignore the Murky, which right now he is being ignored. And the whole thing is, you don't just give up push, you also give bribe stacks, which he can easily manipulate things on the map the minute he has those.
Yeah, he's doing everything he can to push, and they'll force out one of these globals to go back to base. Falstad not going to be the one, it looks like. Dahaka is up here to defend. Now, LZ does help the team get level 10 as well with that global push, but the last of this temple firing off at the top lane now with only one fort remaining. My temple is powered. I can't knock the Murky too hard, though, because so far it's done fairly well.
He has 28 stacks of bribe, which means he has 4 turn-ins, but the Sulfura Smash coming down. Ancestral lands just in time to save his life.
Really well done there from the Aware.
Yeah, Murky's coming down. Jake, watch out. Murky is coming.
The flanking march of the Murlocs is actually a monster threat. It's something you got to be really fearful of, because if it's your retreat path and you have to step through the Murlocs, it got a big buff in this last patch, and it is quite meaningful.
Who would have planted? Falls that bottom?
Ignition.
Charge.
On. That's a kill.
Yep. A little bit postured up a little bit too much there without much help around. Them not showing on the map. That was just a little bit too far forward to be safe, and ETC is going to be able to slide away. Scary prospect. Leeming trying to get some flank poke there. Rhaegar starting to rotate down. We'll see if they try and engage.
Yeah, pretty pokey right now. Just kind of trying to whittle down as they are down that one here. Falsa just respawned. Probably will hold on to his fly so that they have it for the temple phase and have their options available. You do see just kind of hanging out by the boss just to make sure no one does anything. Or maybe a Falstad steps forward and they can kill him. The party bush life is real.
How long do you wait there?
30 minutes.
All right. I will wait 30 minutes. Bribe was used up top by Murky, so that's going to be pushing.
Dude, it needs
top
sports time.
Or excuse me, middle and bottom temple. Reverse party bush? ETC?
The grenade misses, actually, and Ignition does have Gust available. Asta will be running for his life. Odin pops, but he's got 2 tanks right on top of him. Gust will seclude, and the single-man mosh to guarantee the destruction of that Odin, finding themselves that kill. However, Murky doing Murky things, getting some good split push on, and Soak of a Temple will force a response here on the other side of the map.
That should be a Hearth, yeah. There's a Hearth by Dahaka. He'll clean that up. They'll be able to channel the bottom temple. I don't think they're going to get much more. This will probably still end up being a trade. Both teams about to hit level 13 at the same time, but there's not a whole lot they can do. Both temples pretty far along in terms of the channel phase. So this top lane will actually get more value just because of those bribe stacks that we were talking about earlier.
Yeah. I like that they swap Falstad because he's got the global, so he's now on the bottom as ETC rotates up to take control of this with his team, as they do have that one hero inventory for a short while. But Tychus is back on in. This will make things far more pressured with Crux in the front. They do get those last shots off. They will get the last shots from mid. Pretty good phase here from Imported.
Yeah, not too bad. They're going to finish jailing those shots. They started to walk away, and they're like, wait a minute, guys, we got to get these last few. So that does work out well for them in the end. As you said, switching Falstad down there allowed them to rotate top. Falstad, Molten Core was used to... Was that on time?
I don't know. That's what I'm curious. No. So he just kind of used a 2-minute cooldown. I mean, he probably won't need it in the next 2 minutes, but we'll see. Oh, Murky. Did he use his bribe stacks?
No, he has 16 still.
Okay.
So I basically have the Murky counter up in the bottom left, so I got you covered.
Nice.
Yeah, they're on the left side in blue.
You are the worst. Gustaroni is an option here. The power slide in up to Karazim. Gus will seclude Asta, and that should be a kill. The body blocks are crisp. But, oh, they don't bite on the palm. They get a double kill. Very well done from Imported. You do see that march to the Murlocs, but it's not going to be enough here.
Boss time. Oh my, that damage that was going out onto him was crazy.
Ancestral. That was a clencher if I ever saw one.
Murky what?
All right, well, that opens up the window for a boss pickup. Now, Sulfura Smash could come crashing down. Is it enough? Do they have the follow-up to actually get the kill? Probably not. They step forward with Murky, and he's got all those shields, but he will pay with his life in that attempt. Now they're going to worry about the Merc camp at top, the boss in bottom, and the imminent push behind this.
Yeah, they could definitely get pushed. Tahaka going to get the middle wave The thing about this, we've got 25 seconds for the temple phase. The boss reasonably should be cleared up, but again, without the global, you pretty much have to leave Murky to kind of go there to basically steal some of the shots. Dahaka's going to rotate up, but the threat of potentially the fight at the bottom should lend favor over to that of imported support. We'll see exactly what strategy they opt to go with here, but this boss definitely getting good value here in the bottom lane.
Yeah, I mean, this should be a keep. They've got the bottom temple with Falstad on it. I mean, Leeming with Mirror Ball did a ton of DPS. Sure, there's the Molten Core. I think they'll still get it, though. Yeah, they should.
It seems likely.
Oh,
they're rotating top.
Yeah.
Gust is available. Falstad has flight. No, he's just going to go back to the bottom. I'd say they could probably pick that variant, but they're opting to just split a little bit, put a bit of pressure. This could be very reminiscent of the last temple phase, where Falstad flies in last minute. They can fight over the temple. They have 16-tier advantage momentarily, but he'll be able to fly up. Right now, they're channeling both. Mad value.
Yeah, a little bit, spread thin. Falstad on his way up to fly. Brock's taking a lot of damage so here, Smash, and the Ancestral not going to be there in time, so the blow up onto ETC gives an upper hand to Nice for the first time. Gus attempted, but the March of the Murlocs is very good onto Swabs. Magoo will end up not being enough as he brush stalkers down to the bottom of the map, and Murky goes down, giving resets, but oh, I cannot believe Dahaka slipped out of there.
Yeah, and it's lucky he had the Brush Stalker. And I want to go back to the point that you made, is that you said the bottom temple should be able to secure the keep. Flying up and contesting the top one. So the top lane had barely any damage. The boss opened this up. It's far better to safely confirm a keep and take that. And having that keep pressure for the rest of the game will afford you different opportunities that the other team won't have. So the bottom fort just now going down on the side of imported support. So it was a little bit greedy to look for the fight. They paid with it with ETC's life. They should still be able to confirm the entire bottom channel. They did get the keep after all.
And they're going to get both giant camps here in the bottom. I mean, I'm not sure what the bribe stacks are on LZ, but that's a bit unfortunate
13.
For him. 13, yeah, so no options for him to utilize those at this moment. He can still continue stacking them up. Dahaka, again, just getting huge value with that global, continuing to throw that XP lead head and ahead here for Imported.
Yeah, almost 19. So they'll be able to hit 20 before the next temple phase and really dictate the pace of this game. And right now, I think that Nice recognizes this, looking for a possible invade. This is a really good time for them to fight if they are going to try and make something happen. But Murky a little bit behind. They recognize they'd have to fight 5 versus 4 right now. I just don't think they can fully commit.
They really can't. And like, they totally have the potential to take a fight here. That ETC blow-up showed the power of that Ragnaros. Now that the Murky build is late game, I mean, he's got the Toxic build-up, so it gives him a lot more DPS. He is, running a fairly tanky style here, so Murky's harder to kill for sure, but they'll find him anyways. Man, Murky versus Li Ming is... resets are scary, man.
Season marksman about 90% of the way done.
Wow.
See if he can finish that. The charge in by Varian. So Pure Smash lands onto 2 as they stand right in the middle of it. Now all of a sudden we might have a fight on our hands as LZ Gamer coming in on Murky. They should be able to disengage, but this is not over yet. Crux on the backside dealing with that Murky pressure, but the hammering gonna get the slow.
Yeah. I love the restraint from Dahaka though. He didn't bite. He stayed top. And he's getting a lot of free soak as a result.
That's giving them really close to 20. I think he actually... it's safe not to push in, but right now, imported support does not want to be overly aggressive. They have ETC in the bush. They're looking for a potential pick, but they need to just soak 20. It's really hard because their lanes are pushed so far up. That's why I'm a little bit surprised Dahaka came back already.
So they're very close to that level 20. Just this last wave, should it be enough? Or it should be enough. They're just trying to lock it in, and then you'll see the immediate backup on the side of Nice because they don't want to take that fight. Here it is, level 20. Should see a safe posture. They're looking to flank with the March of the Murlocs, actually.
It's actually OP, Jake. Come on, there's the power slide in, but the tongue is grabbed onto Varian. The knockback down. 20 health, they're not blocking it. Here it goes, they blocked it. So Pure Smash is down, though.
It almost gets the kill on the Aware, but not quite enough. The Mosh Pit just locking ETC down to try to get the blow up, leaving with the Mirror Ball. does get a lot of damage and they find that kill. Elaheim should die. Radiant Dash away, but Crux will get that kill on the left side and everyone is down. This could be GG.
They just got to walk up to the core and start pressing buttons, but another team fight. I mean, 20-19 with a Murky, and it's just such a hard fight to take, and it did not work. The flyover by Ignition was the most impressive flight I think I've ever seen, G.
Damn, rage quit.
That's one way to do it.
www.saltysalamanders.net. Well